Hey, LeBron, earlier a lot of people thought you deserved to be an All-Star. Was that situation a little frustrating for you?
Yeah, I think so. Well as I played, I think I played well enough to be on the top 12 in the Eastern Conference. But, when it didn't work out, I kind of just thought about it and just said, I'm going to just work hard and hopefully I'll be there next year.
Regardless of where you have him positioned in the GOAT conversation or any NBA debates, one thing that LeBron clearly holds over everybody is longevity. And one of the major signifiers of his longevity is his streak of consecutive NBA All-Star Game selections. As I record this video, LeBron is set to make his 20th straight All-Star appearance, which is the most in NBA history. And the most impressive part about it is that he has been selected as a starter in every one of those games. 20 selections in 21 seasons is extremely impressive. However, if you're anything like me, you can't help but wonder why it's not 21 selections in 21 seasons, especially when you consider that there was a real possibility that he would be selected as an All-Star in that one year that he wasn't. As you heard Charles Barkley allude to in the intro, there was a crop of NBA fans and voters who truly felt like LeBron deserved to be an All-Star. After all, he was 4th in fan votes among Eastern Conference guards that year behind Allen Iverson, Tracy McGrady, and Jason Kidd, and he led the league in jersey sales. Some of his peers also believed that he belonged in the game. Former NBA player Jarvis Hayes, who was in the same draft class as LeBron, reminisced on the decision of the coaches to exclude LeBron, saying that he thought that it was a travesty that LeBron didn't make the All-Star team. And indeed, when you compare LeBron's stats in the first half of the season with those of the Eastern Conference reserves, you see that just based on the numbers, he was one of the better players in the conference. LeBron among the reserves would have ranked 4th in points per game, 3rd in assists per game, and 5th in rebounds. But when you factor in the team record, you see that LeBron was last on that list, and he wasn't really close. The team record is what many point to as the reason why he was left off of the All-Star team, but it's not too far-fetched to assume that some of the guys were picked over rookie LeBron because they had seniority. If you look at the list of reserves, you see guys who are already established in the league, some whom also went on to become NBA champions and future Hall of Famers. You see Jason Kidd, Paul Pierce, Baron Davis, Artest, but when you look lower on that list of reserves, you see that there's one outlier, a player you rarely hear about when talking about the history of the NBA. And no, it's not Kenyon or Michael Redd, it's Jamal Morrow. Jamal Morrow was a 6'11 center who played 12 seasons in the NBA. The Toronto native had made his way into the league after a successful college career at the University of Kentucky, where he won a national championship and finished off his college career as the school's all-time leader in blocks, which earned him the 19th spot in the 2000 NBA draft. Morrow gained a reputation as a tough, high-energy physical force in the paint, and by his 3rd NBA season, he was asserting himself among the better bigs in the league on the New Orleans Hornets. His best season was undoubtedly the 2003-2004 season, where he averaged nearly 14 points, 10 rebounds, and a block, playing all 82 games. And this was the same season he was selected as an All-Star. Even though his numbers, along with the team record, justified the selection, he was largely viewed as the guy that was taken over LeBron. Following the announcement of the Eastern Conference All-Star reserves, ESPN senior writer Mark Stein published an article which was titled, "No Explaining LeBron's All-Star Snub," and the first line read, "Jamal Morrow is an All-Star, LeBron James is not."
Me personally, I wouldn't take this level of disrespect.
Realistically speaking, Morrow was not a bad choice because if the coaches had voted for LeBron to be in the game instead, then the Eastern Conference All-Stars would have had just one center in Ben Wallace. This was before defense completely died out in the All-Star game, so having another big body would have been beneficial to the team. And it wasn't like Morrow was a wild card either. He was averaging a near double-double, and as you will see later on in the video, he proved that he belonged in the All-Star game. But before he could do that, LeBron would get his first introduction to the NBA All-Star Weekend on that Friday when he participated in the 2004 Rookie Challenge. Now, of course, this wasn't the real All-Star game, and it was actually viewed as a consolation prize to LeBron and those who wanted to watch him that Sunday. But it was still something that many looked forward to, especially because LeBron and Carmelo Anthony would be teaming up. At that time, their names were almost always mentioned in the same breath in conversations about young talents in the league. And they were teaming up with Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh. And the rookies were facing off against the sophomores who had their own future Hall of Famers in Manu Ginobili and Yao Ming. In all honesty, the game was not close at all, yet it is still set to be the most exciting rookie challenge in NBA history. Why? Because by the end of the game, it had turned into a dunk contest that was mainly dominated by LeBron.
James, it's a two-man show. Forget what I said. Josh Howard ahead to James, auditioning for the next slam dunk contest that he'll be in. Oh, come on. I'm not buying it. I'm sorry. I'm watching Carlos Boozer just stand there. I think when they're talking about wanting to win, they're saying in the regular season we want to win. And they've shown that with their home court advantage in the NBA Finals. Yes.
Enjoyed playing. And you got a great kick in both Anthony and Carmelo, Anthony and James are that.
And here it is. And we have.
That game was also a glimpse into the future of All-Star games because it was officially the beginning of All-Star games with long stretches of little to no defense. It was a high-scoring game, and the commentators also just kept mentioning how there was no defense being played. So it was no surprise that the Rookie Challenge scoring record was broken by two players in that game. LeBron, who finished with 33, and Amari Stoudemire, who finished with 36, winning MVP of the game and setting a new scoring record. Real quick, if you're enjoying the video so far, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more content like this. But now, let's talk about how Jamal Morrow did in the All-Star game. Like any other All-Star game in 2004, the court was star-studded with future legends of the game on both sides. There was Shaq, Kobe, Iverson, T-Mac, you name it. And as the game progressed, it was like any other All-Star game in the early 2000s where you had highlights from superstars, some competition, and a bit of defense. But for some time in the game, Morrow was giving the West buckets, and for a little while, it became Morrow versus Shaq.
Test of the Indiana Pacers. Did he have a problem dressing in the dark?
How about those shoes?
He's wearing different. Again, that good-looking backcourt man, Shaquille O'Neal, takes all the way and is rejected. Final seconds of this first quarter. Here's Morrow getting inside 210. The oldest when he made his debut back in 1957. Older by 5 days. Shaq said he's been going to the weights every day. He's in the best shape of his life, but more.
Now, this wasn't the great battle of the bigs or a crazy back and forth between Shaq and Morrow because Shaq was pretty dominant for the whole game, and after all, Morrow was a backup for Ben Wallace. But get this, out of everybody in the East, Jamal Morrow scored the most points, finishing with a team-high 19 points and 8 rebounds, and let's just say, not many expected it.
Shaquille O'Neal, 24 points, 11 rebounds, doing the job for the West. While the East with a surprising scoring leader, Jamal Morrow of the New Orleans Hornets.
The West won the game and Shaq took home the MVP trophy, but if the East had won that game, do you know who would have been All-Star MVP? Yes, you guessed it, Jamal Morrow. The craziest part is that the East pretty much gave away the game after missing so many free throws in crunch time. And although Jason Kidd also had a great stat line in that game, even other NBA players believed that Morrow was most deserving of the MVP trophy out of everyone on the Eastern Conference roster, over T-Mac, Allen Iverson, Jason Kidd, and the guy who was backing up, Ben Wallace. That was his one and only All-Star appearance, and I think that's the reason why some now know Morrow's participation in that game as merely an opportunity that was robbed from LeBron. In the year that followed his All-Star appearance, he suffered a finger injury which ended his season after 23 games. Meanwhile, LeBron got his first All-Star selection that season. After that, Morrow's career was on the decline as he became a journeyman in the league. He was then traded to the Bucks where he spent a season before getting traded again to Portland, and by that point, he wasn't viewed as an All-Star anymore. His role in the league was more of a backup big and a veteran locker room presence. He signed with the New Jersey Nets in free agency, but his numbers were declining in the 2007-2008 season, which led to him being waived before being picked up by the Mavericks in the next few days. He finally found a home again in Miami, where he spent 3 seasons, but apart from his first season with the team, he served as a depth piece at the center position for a Heat team which had 4 centers at one point. He was even on the 2011 Miami Heat roster that made the finals, which means that he was actually teammates with LeBron. But he wasn't getting much playing time and only played 54 games in his last 2 seasons with Miami, which led to him signing with the Raptors for 1 more season in which he played just 34 games before getting waived and calling it a career. And well, for LeBron's career, you probably know how that played out. So to the question, was LeBron snubbed from the All-Star game in his rookie year? I'll let you guys answer that based on everything I laid out in this video. Be sure to like and subscribe. I do deep dives and NBA stories, so stay tuned for more content. Until next time, peace.